Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. It is that time of the month where we talk about my monthly reads, and I actually didn't do a May monthly read just because I didn't have time to at the beginning of the month, and by the time I did, and I was just like, forget it, I'll just combine May and June together and just make it a little bit longer. So we have some stuff to talk about. So go ahead and grab yourself a little drinking drink and let's jump into the reviews. So this is a chai. I don't know why it's so light colored. My husband got me a different kind. I think it was like Oregon chai or something like that. And I didn't even add that much milk and it's so lightly colored, but it's good. Anyway, let's start off with my May reads, obviously. And as you guys know, I keep track of my reads in Storygraph on the app. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull those up because I remember like the plots of the story, but I don't really remember like what I rated them. So let me go ahead and pull them up. So I read 2 Kindle books and they're both by Frida McFadden. Is that a shocker? No. But the first one was Do Not Disturb, and it was about a place called Baxter Motel. And it says, unfortunately, the Baxter Motel isn't the quite safe haven it seems to be. The motel has a dark and disturbing past, and in the house across the way, the silhouette of Nick's ailing wife is always at the window, always watching. To avoid spending her life in prison, Quinn makes a run for it. She leaves behind her home, her family, and her job. She grabs her passport and heads to the northern border before the police can discover what she's done. But when an unexpected snowstorm forces her off the road, Quinn must take refuge at the broken-down, isolated Baxter Motel. The handsome and kindly owner, Nick Baxter, is only too happy to offer her a cheap room for the night. Do Not Disturb is a Hitchcock-style psychological thriller that will keep you tearing through the pages until you reach the shocking conclusion. Quinn Alexander has committed an unthinkable crime, but first she must survive the night. And I gave this a 3.5 stars. It's 329 pages. It's fast-paced, dark, mysterious, tense. I will say that Frida McFadden is very good for throwing twists into stories, and the twist that was in the story towards the end, I kind of saw coming as we got closer to it, and I was just like, something suspicious with this person. They're, acting a little weird. But in the beginning, I wouldn't have expected that at all. So that was a good quick read. You guys know I fly through Frida McFadden reads because they're just so addicting and I just like them. So yeah, I gave that one 3.5 stars. The next one I read by Frida McFadden was The Surrogate Mother. This one is super short, so it's only 225 pages. Again, it's mysterious, tense, fast-paced, all that. And I gave this one, it was medium, or it was fast-paced. And I would say this one was like a 3. It wasn't like my favorite Frida McFadden book. Usually Frida gets me with like the twists that she ends up doing into or adding into her stories, but this one I was just kind of like like I guessed one part of it, but I couldn't guess the other part of it, and then when it all comes together, you were just like, what the heck is this? So yes, that's what I would give this one. I would give this one a 3. Hold on, I'm just trying to pull up the summary for it. So it says, oh no, that's Do Not Disturb. Went back too far. There we go. It says, Abby wants a baby more than anything, but after years of failed fertility treatments and adoptions that have fallen through, it seems like motherhood is not in her future. That is, until her personal assistant, Monica, makes a generous offer that will make all of Abby's dreams come true, or all of her nightmares, because it turns out Monica isn't who she says she is. And now the woman carrying Abby's child has a dark, twisted, secretive past, and she will stop at nothing to get what she wants. So, as you can tell from that description, Monica's a little shady. I saw that from the beginning. I was like, no good. Don't do it, Abby. She gonna trick you. Sure enough, she did. But it ended up all working out in the end. You'll have to read it to get all the twists and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, that one was a 3-star, 225 pages, Kindle Unlimited, so it's a super short review on that. The third book I read for the month of May was Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. Nah, I like Jane Austen novels, okay? I really do. This is the first Jane Austen novel that I didn't really like, honestly. It wasn't my favorite. First of all, it was super long, 544 pages. What did I give it? I gave it a 3 apparently, but I feel like that might be a little generous. It should have been like a 2.75 for me, you know what I mean? Just because if you've read Jane Austen novels before, you know that she always has super strong-willed female characters, and the main character in this novel, Fanny, I just didn't like. She was just, you know, she was very quiet, and she let people walk all over her, and I don't know, I just didn't like it. And then like I felt like it was this long book, and then everything wrapped up in like the last like 50 pages or so, you know what I mean? I was just like, I didn't need all of that fluff in the middle then, you know what I mean? Anyway, it says Jane Austen's profound, ambiguous third novel is the story of Fanny Price, who is accustomed to being the poor relation at Mansfield Park, the home of her wealthy plantation-owning uncle. She finds comfort in her love for her cousin Edmund until the arrival of charismatic outsiders from London throws life at the house into disarray and brings dangerous desires to the surface. Mansfield Park is Austen's most complex work, a powerful portrayal of change, scandalous misdemeanors, and true integrity. And like I said, it was very slow paced. There are a little, like, few funny little snippets here and there, but mostly it wasn't my favorite. It was very character driven. I think there was some character development, but not all. I didn't really like the characters. It wasn't a diverse cast either. And like I said, it was 3 stars, and that's it. That's all I feel about that one. So my last one for May was The Last Word, which is my book of the month pick, Taylor Adams. I don't remember the last time I read a thriller by a man. Most of the thrillers I read are by women, and this one was it was good, but it was a little graphic at times, if you know what I mean. So this one is called The Last Word, obviously, and it says Emma Carpenter is living in isolation with her golden retriever Laika. I don't know if it's Laika or Laika. House sitting in an old beachfront on the reigning Washington coast. Her only human contact is with her elderly neighbor Deke, and via text with the house owner Jules. One day, she reads a poorly written but gruesome horror novel by the author H.G. Cain and posts a 1-star review that drags her into an online argument with none other than the author himself. Soon after, disturbing incidents start to occur at night. To Emma, this can't just be a coincidence. It was strange enough for the author to bicker with her online about a lousy review. Could he be stalking her too? As Emma digs into Cain's life and work, she learns he has published 16 other novels, all sadistic tales of stalking and murder. But who is he? How did he find her? And what else is he capable of? Displaying his trademark command of rapid-fire pacing, unnerving atmosphere, and razor-sharp characterization, Taylor Adams once again delivers a diabolically disturbing and deadly game of cat and mouse. I gave this a 4-star. And it was 340 pages. And I really liked this one. It is very dark though. It's kind of, I would say it's mixed between like a plot driven and character driven. There is some strong character development. There's not a diverse cast of characters, and the flaws of the character are a main focus in this group, or in this book, not group. I would say it's medium pace. Like, it's not too slow, not too fast. It's right there in the middle. I did read it pretty quickly, though. I liked it. Some of the big twists were predictable, but some of them weren't. But yeah, I related to the main character just because, you know, she would read a bunch of Kindle Unlimited reviews online read a bunch of Kindle Unlimited books and then leave reviews. I don't leave reviews, but I related to the fact that we both read a bunch of books on our Kindles. But yeah, so if you haven't read this one, I would definitely recommend it. I really liked that one. So for the month of June, I read 3 books. So my goal for the month, for every month, is 4, but I only read 3. But I am proud of the fact that I read 3 because they were 3 physical books. And physical books are a lot harder for me to get through than audio or Kindle reads. So the fact that I read 3 physical books for the month of June is pretty great in my opinion. And I technically still have one started in Audible and one started on my Kindle as well. So 3 I finished, oh, and another physical one that I started as well. I haven't finished this one, but I do want to like talk about it a little bit. So if you count this one, it's almost 4 physical books for June, which is a lot for me. And then I have one started on my Kindle and one started on Audible. So altogether it was like 7 books I was juggling for the month of June, which like I said is a lot. But let's talk about the first one. This one, I didn't really like it. I gave it 3 stars, but I feel like that's kind of generous. It was very slow and repetitive. Like there was a lot of things in here that I didn't really care to read over and over again. By The Husbands by Chandler Baker, and it says Nora Spangler is a successful attorney with a busy career. She's also a wife and mom, and when it comes to her family's domestic life, she packs the lunches, schedules the doctor's appointments, does the shopping, designs, and orders the holiday cards. Her husband Hayden works hard too, but why does it seem like she's always working so much harder? When the Spanglers go house hunting in Dynasty Ranch, an exclusive suburban neighborhood, Nora meets a group of high-powered women, a tech CEO, a neurosurgeon, a best-selling author, all with supportive husbands. She finds the air is different in Dynasty Ranch. The women aren't hanging on by a thread, and the husbands all seem happy to shoulder half the work necessary to run a family. When Nora agrees to help with the residents' wrongful death case, she gets an unvarnished look into the neighbors' lives. As she learns about her new friends and their unorthodox method of couples therapy, she risks exposing not only secrets at the heart of her own marriage, but also the plot that may explain the secret to having it all. One that's worth killing for. I cannot read today. Furious and funny, the husbands imagine a world in which the burden of the second shift is equally shared because women can do anything, but they can't do everything. Some people liked it. Like, it did have very good reviews. It was on the Good Morning America book club, which is why I was like, oh, maybe I should try to read it. It is a mystery thriller, but I didn't like the main character. She was kind of annoying, if you ask me. And it was a very, I'm gonna nag about my husband the whole time, and like there's little like inserts of like online posts where the women are nagging about their husbands. And I don't know, it was just kind of boring. It was, like I said, it was slow and repetitive. There were parts I found completely unnecessary, and it seems like they were just added to make the book a little bit longer. There probably are a lot of people who enjoy this, but it just wasn't for me. And that's all I have to say about that. It took me a while to get through it too, because I just didn't like it. Okay. The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I hope I said his name right. I don't really know. But if you guys watched, I think it was like my very first book review, I talked about The Silent Patient, which was his debut novel. And I loved that one. So I was like, I really need to get around to reading The Maidens because I loved The Silent Patient so much. And I will say, I like The Silent Patient more still, but this one was a very close second. And if you read A Silent Patient, there are some parts of The Silent Patient that kind of like slit on into this one. So you don't necessarily have to read The Silent Patient to know the people. Like, you could read this one first and then go read The Silent Patient, and then like they still kind of like intertwine a little bit, but you don't need to read one first to understand the other one, if that makes sense. So it said, Edward Fosca is a murderer. Of this, Mariana is certain, but Fosca is untouchable. A handsome and charismatic Greek tragedy professor at Cambridge University. Fosca is adored by staff and students alike, particularly by the members of the secret society of female students known as the Maidens. Mariana Andros is a brilliant but troubled group therapist who becomes fixated on the Maidens when one member, a friend of Mariana's niece, Zoe, is found murdered in Cambridge. Mariana, who was once herself a student at the university, quickly suspects that the idyllic beauty of the spires and turrets and beneath the ancient traditions lies something sinister, and she becomes convinced that despite his alibi, Edward Fosca is guilty of murder. But why would the professor target one of his students? And why does he keep returning to the rites of Persephone, the maiden, and her journey to the underworld? When another body is found, Mariana's obsession with proving Fosca's guilt spirals out of control, threatening to destroy her credibility as well as her closest relationships. But Mariana is determined to stop this killer, even if it costs her everything, including her own life. Loved it. Couldn't put it down. I read through it very quickly. Like I said, I did like The Silent Patient a little bit more because I feel like that twist threw me off a little bit more than this twist did. But I did give it 4 stars. It was pretty good read. So if you haven't read this yet, then I would definitely give this a read. So my last read for the month of June that I've completed is The Green Dress by Liz Tolsma, and I loved this book. This was a super quick read. I read it in a day, guys, because it was that good. It's pretty short. It's only 247 pages if you don't include like the author's note and all that stuff at the end. But it says, when Harriet Peters came to Boston 4 years ago, the Robinson family took her in like one of their own, and Harriet became closer to Lizzie Robinson than her own siblings. Now Lizzie is deathly sick, failing quickly just like several others in her family have done over the past few years. How can so many in one family die from the same mysterious illness? Harriet doesn't have answers, but she's determined to help the family, bringing in a new-to-the-neighborhood Dr. Michael Wheaton. As Harriet and Michael close in on the answer, putting their lives at risk, can the cause be found before anyone else dies? And this is part of her True Colors series, which is fiction based on strange but true history. So this story is actually based on true events that happened. But in the end, after the story, it does have the real victims' names. And it does have an author's note that like gives her background of like what was true in the story and what exactly wasn't true from the story. But it was a very easy read. I loved it. There are other books in this True Colors series that I'm definitely gonna have to check out at the library, because this one was very good. And at first I was sitting there like, what the heck does a green dress have to do with the story? I don't understand why they called it that. And then it like the last few pages, you're like, that's why. I understand. Honestly, I kind of saw who it was from the beginning, but I think it's just because I read a lot of like mystery, thriller, crime kind of things. So I knew who it was, but the story behind it and like them trying to figure out who it was and all that jazz was still very interesting. So I really liked this book. This was my book of the month read, not my book of the month, my book club read with my friend Valerie. Really liked this one, so if you haven't read it, definitely recommend it. It's a nice quick read, and let me know what you think about it. So the last one I want to chat a little bit about is my book club read, which is Inkblood Sister Scribe. And I picked it for this month, and you guys, I don't really like fantasy, okay? But this one sounded so good, and I was like, ooh, let me see what this is about. And it's taking me a while to get into it. This is Emma My husband told me how to pronounce the name because it's an Hungarian last name, and I forgot. I'm so sorry, Emma, for butchering your name. But yeah, so this is her debut novel. It's okay so far. I don't have anything negative to say about it. It's just I personally don't really like fantasy novels all that much, but I'm going to read you guys the summary. Let me know what you think. It says, for generations, the Calote family has guarded a collection of ancient and rare books. Books that let a person walk through walls or manipulate the elements. Books of magic that half-sisters Joanna and Esther have been raised to revere and protect. All magic comes with a price though, and for years the sisters have been separated. Esther has fled to a remote base in Antarctica to escape the fate that killed their mother, and Joanna's isolated herself in their family home in Vermont, devoting her life to the study of these cherished volumes. But after her father dies suddenly while reading a book Joanna has never seen before, the sisters must reunite to preserve their family legacy. In the process, they'll uncover a world of magic far bigger and more dangerous than they have ever imagined, and all the secrets their parents kept hidden. Secrets that span centuries, continents, and even other libraries. In the great tradition of Ninth House, The Magicians, and Practical Magic, this is a suspenseful and richly atmospheric novel that draws readers into the vast world filled with mystery and magic, romance and intrigue, and marks the debut of an extraordinary new voice in speculative fiction. As of right now, it's like a 3. I'm like halfway through. It's like a 3 right now. I'll let you guys know in my July reads video if that changes or not. But as of right now, it's a 3, and I would recommend it if you are super into fantasies, because I feel like people who are into fantasy would get into this book probably faster than I am. And that's it, guys. So sorry if you hear my chickens right now. They're currently doing their egg song, so they're a little loud out there right now. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you've been reading, if there's any recommendations that you have for me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.